Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Karan. Did he suggest Gopal Gandhi or Farooq for president, but no call yet. Women cop pulled out of moving train. Students protest army's new recruitment schemes. Agniverse will be 50% of army by 2032. Vice Chief. 5G biggest spectrum sale start July 26. 43 new COVID case in a state. Eight cops hurt in attack in East Champaran. RJD for long-term opposition perspectives. JDU netas to face action for anti-party activities. Shravan. Case of hearts heat stroke up in UP in Aurangabad. Record loading of lychee from Muzaffarpur station railway. Women constable injured phone snatcher arrested. 10 lakh job aspirants in cities coaching hub upbeat. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sneha. Today's headlines are the job crisis. Low skill and high skill jobs can be created, but not without BJP and opponent governments working together. Goal on Tuesday announced that 1 million people will be recruited by over the next 18 months. An admission that unemployment is a problem. 1 million jobs at one time is small help when 5 million people annually join the labor force, which is 430 million strong. Estimates on unemployment level vary depending on whose statistics one agrees. With goals, PLF puts jobless at 4.6% for June 2021. SMI's April 2022 data says that the rate is 7.4%. Even when goal data for 2022 comes, the gap won't change much. Youth unemployment estimates when CMIE and GOI shows even wider gaps, although the period of survey and the age groups covered are not the same. It's striking that 12.9% while CMI's April 2022 data shows 42% for the 2024 age groups and 12.7% for the 25 to 29 cohort. Some conclusions can still be drawn. There's a big youth unemployment problem, unpaid work is increasing the quality of non-white collar jobs and declining self-employment. A desperate choice for most low-income arenas in going up and real wages have been falling. That no expert reckons that even an economy growing at 7% can by itself solve the jobs problem shows that much the economy has changed structurally. As an Azim Premji University study showed, over the last decade, the impact on total employment for every 1% point increase in GDP has been just 0.1%. India is not an outlier either. World Bank studies showed that in most countries, the share of manufacturing in total employment dropped between 1994 and 2011, including countries where the manufacturing sector expanded its proportion in GDP. Growing automation while sometimes expand output without adding jobs. But there are two concrete things India can do. First, any obstacle to creating low-scale manufacturing jobs needed to be removed. PLIs are not enough. Central or state policies by themselves are not enough. There has to be joint center state policy making. Second, a chunk of manufacturing's near future jobs will be high skilled and only a create state combined effort can make skilling India's younger reality. If politics won't allow much cooperation, politicians should know the future can be dire. Opposition parties which should reckon jobs are a BJP and weak point and BJP which reckons trumpeting official data is enough and both guilty. Thank you.
Some news about 5G impact traffic. Right.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Shreya, and today's headline is 5G impact traffic to teaching factories to farming. Why high-speed data services can transform how Indians work, learn, and live. The government has announced the rollout of the transformational 5G services which will bring about a revolutionary change in communication with benefits spanning various sectors. Besides spurring economic growth, 5G is essential for Industry 4.0, enable rapid digitalization in India, a flip for education and healthcare. The pandemic underscored the enabling nature of digitalization in most sectors, but more so in education and skilling. With the enhanced mobile broadband feature of 5G, the full potential of digital education can be unleashed, expanding on PM e-Vidya. It will deliver high quality education content through mobile application to every student in the country. 5G will also provide a major impetus to digital universities, vocational training programs delivered in the physical mode can improve the employability of youth and women by providing hands-on experience and reducing on-job training time. In healthcare, the ultra-reliable low latency communication URLLC feature of 5G will enable user-friendly point-of-care diagnostics and the creation of much-needed connected ambulances along with mHealth. 5G will also significantly improve access to world-class medical advice, resulting in better flow of care. A hospital-run private 5G network will enable even a handful of doctors and nursing staff to provide quality care to hundred by monitoring their vital while simultaneously maintaining electronic health records. Next-gen banking and transportation. For financial inclusion and the banking sector, both EMBB and URLLC features which will play significant role. India has already become a world leader with the Unified Payment Interface UPI. With the help of geographical information system, we can reach the next level of simple, seamless, and secure payments such as one-tap payment and cashierless store model. Similarly, the payment bank model can be expanded through the incremental steps toward a completely mobile formal banking system. This will enable citizens to securely access various bank facilities through a virtual branch experience, hereby enhancing the banking population of India. The transportation and mobility, the massive machine type communication MMTC feature of 5G can prove to be game changer. A network of EVs and charging stations can be created, optimizing the availability of charging infrastructure and thereby enhancing the most effectiveness of EVS ecosystem, integrating initiatives across transit system like FASTag for toll and entry tax cannot only improve efficiency within the transportation sector but also reduce all carbon footprint. Along the launch of the drones as a service ecosystem in India, the URLLC feature will be crucial for navigation and drone traffic control. Meanwhile, ports across the globe struggle with along waiting times and inventory congestion. Using the MMTC and URLLC features, we can turn these challenges into opportunities. The deployment and machine vision will, with software-enabled automatic guided vehicles, can help in better port space management. Friend of farmers, bedrocks of Industry 4.0. In agriculture and renewable energy, farms can be equipped with a diverse range of sensors to continuously monitor the factor impacting the health of crops. Even small farmers with little virtue training can improve irrigation efficiency as well as crop health through 5G. The renewable energy farmers, especially wind and solar, already deployed numerous sensors, but because they are in remote region, there is a delay in response. With 5G, their response time and efficiency can be radically improved. The manufacturing and the industry, the impact of 5G will most visible and tangible here. 5G private network will be the cornerstone of Industry 4.0. These networks connect an array of IoT, Internet of Things, sensors and devices, and automate the scheduling of various processes based on intelligent algorithms. The manufacturing factors such networks can improve efficiency by an estimate to 2 by 4 times while reducing carbon emission. However, these gains are not limited to manufacturing sector alone. Any industry that is able to digitize and schedule process will be able to leverage many benefits of 5G. Thank you.
Short. Bitcoin slips as crypto sell-offs accelerates from year to year. Short.
Bitcoin slips as crypto sell-off accelerates.
Accelerates.
Accelerate.
Here accelerate. Accelerates. Accelerates. Accelerator होता है ना मोटरसाइकिल में, वही accelerate तो लिखा हुआ है, आगे बढ़ाना, accelerate. पढ़ो.
London Bitcoin tumbled on Wednesday to a new 18-month low, dragging smaller tokens down with and scoring a sharp fall in crypto markets.
What is your name?
Others.
Adarsh. From मजबूती से पढ़ो ना. Responsibility. चलो.
Crypto markets sparked by crypto lenders, Celsius freezing customer withdrawals. The world's largest cryptocurrency fell 7.5% to $20,289, its lowest since December 2020. It was lost around 28% since Friday and more than half of its value this year. Since its record high of $69,000 in November, it has slumped about 70%. Cryptocurrencies have been hit hard this week after US crypto lenders Celsius frozen withdrawals and transfer between accounts, stoking fears vendor fall out in digging digital assets markets already shaken by the demise of the Terras and Luna
demise
demise of the Terra and Luna tokens last month. Exception of sharper US Fed interest rate hikes at inflation in the world's biggest economic source have also happened pressure on risky assets from cryptocurrencies to stock. Crypto funds saw outflow of 102 million week, last week, according to digital asset manager CoinShare, sitting investors' anticipation of tighter, tighter central bank policy. The value of global crypto market has fallen under 900 billion coin market cap. Data shows down from a peak of 2.9 trillion in November. The ripples running through the market haven't stopped yet, said Scott Siu, investment director at Hong Kong-based Action Global Asset Management. I think we are still in the middle of, unfortunately, the game isn't over. Thank you.
आदर्श बहुत आदर्श रीडिंग नहीं थोड़ा और कॉम्प्रहेंसिव चाहिए चलो एक्सपोर्ट प्राइजेस
Good morning, everyone. New Delhi, India.
पहले हेडलाइन तो पढ़ो
Exports rise to 20.6% to dollar 38.9 billion in May. May.
इंग्लिश में
May.
और हिंदी में मई
Trade deficit widens to record $24.3 billion. New Delhi,
India's apostrophe s
yes, वो पता है. New Delhi, India's
merchandise
India's merchandise export in May rose by 20.6% to $38.9 billion, while trading deficit
मतलब कमी
deficit ballooned and recorded $24.3 billion. According to the government data released on Wednesday. Import during the May 2022 grew by 26.8 million to 62.8 million to $63.2 billion. The data shows the trading defined on
trade deficit
the trade deficit stood at $3.5 million in the $6.5 million in the same month last year. Cumulative export in May, April and May 2022 to 2023 rose by about 25% to $78.7 million.
बिलियन है ना
$billion. Export in May, April and May 2022 2023 increased
25.4 million to 25 million.
45
45 million 4 million 44
तुमको नंबर देखने में दिक्कत हो रहा है क्या?
नहीं सर 45.4 million 45.4% to $123.4 billion. The trade defenses deficit during the first 2 months of this fiscal widened to $44.7 million again $21.8 million in this year ago period.
चलो
Thank you.
तुम इतना अटक रहे हो. यहाँ पे commenting on the figures.
ICRA limited.
Yeah, sir. Commenting.
Good morning, class. My name is Dr. Ravi. News on the continuous. Commenting on the figures, ICRA Limited Chief Economist Aditi Nair said that the mild sequential dip in non-oil export amidst a sharp jump in the gold imports widened India's merchandise trade deficit to a massive $24 billion in May 2022. Based on the expectation that gold imports may reduce after the Akshaya Tritiya season, the trade deficit may demonstrate some moderation in the current month, she said. She added that based on the performance in the April-May 2022, we foresee the current account deficit to the widened $26 billion in question 1 if Q1 FY23 from $23 billion in Q3 FY22 and an expected $16 billion in Q4 FY22. She said. Petroleum and the crude oil imports during the May 22 surged to 102.7% and $19.2 billion. Coal, coke, briquettes imports jumped to the $5.5 billion against the $2 billion in May 2021. Gold import increased to the $6 billion during the months under the review from the $677 million in May 2021. Engineering gold exports in May increased by 12.7% and $19.7 billion. While petroleum products export grew by 60.9% and $8.54 billion. Gems and the jewelry export stood at $3.2 billion in May compared to $2.97 billion in the same month last year. Exports of the chemicals rose 17.4% to the $2.5 billion in the May. Similarly, shipment of the pharma and the ready-made garments of all the textiles grew by the 10.3% and 27.9% to the $2 billion and $1.4 million respectively. Export sectors that recorded negative growth in the export sector that recorded negative growth in May included iron ore, cashew, handicrafts, plastics, carpet, and spices. The Commerce Ministry said estimated value of the service imports of May is $14.4 billion, exhibiting a positive growth of 45% compared to nearby $10 billion in the same month last year. The estimated value of the service imports for April-May 2022 and is $28.5 billion, exhibiting positive growth of the 45.5%. Vice versa, April-May 2021, $19.6 billion. It added. Thank you.
China's industrial output up. Eco shows signs of recovery.
Good morning, everyone. I am Tarun Kumar. China's industrial output up eco shows signs of recovery. Weak consumption remains a challenge for policymakers. Beijing.
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 Beijing. China's economy showed signs of recovery in May after slumping in the prior month as industrial production rose unexpectedly. But consumption was still weak and underlined the challenge for policymakers amid the persistent drag from a strict COVID curbs. The data, however, provides a path to revitalize growth in the world's second biggest economy after businesses and consumers were hit hard due to full or partial lockdown in dozens of cities in March and April, including a protracted shutdown in commercial centers Shanghai. Industrial output grew 0.7% in May from year earlier, after falling 2.9% in April. Data from the National Bureau of Statistics showed on Wednesday that compared with a 0.7% drop expected by analysts in a poll. The uptick in the industrial sector was underpinned by the easing of COVID curves and a strong global demand. China's exports grew at a double-digit pace in May, shattering expectations as factories restarted and logistics snags eased. The mining sector led the May with annual output up 7.0% in May, while that in the manufacturing industry asked out a meager 0.7% growth, mostly driven by the production of a new energy vehicles, while which surged 108.3% year on year. Thank you.
Take the mic from here. Activity data paints.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Salu. Activity data paints an economic recovery picture in May, but only a slow one, said Irish Bank chief China economist. And at ING, the government is likely to respond to this economic weakness by delivering more financial estimation. Bank said China's share rose after the data were released, with mainland China blue chips up 1.8% and Hong Kong share 1.4% higher in contrast with a largely section for most other Asian share market. A few Lingui, a spokesman at NBS.
इतना रुक रुक के हम लोग क्यों पढ़ रहे हैं? साफ साफ तो लिखा हुआ है, प्रिंटिंग भी अच्छी है, तो हम लोग क्यों रुक पा रहे हैं? तो मतलब प्रैक्टिस नहीं कर रहे हैं. सिंपल वर्ड्स. तो प्रैक्टिस बाबू तुमको करना है, हमको नहीं. क्लियर है? प्रैक्टिस कीजिएगा. कम माय फ्रेंड. Chinese shares rose after the data.
Good morning, all. Chinese share rose after the data were released. Data were released with mainland China's blue chips up 1.8% and Hong Kong share 1.4% higher. In contrast with a largely subdued sessions for most other Asian share markets. Fu Lingui, a spoken man at NBS, told a press conference that he expects the recovery to improve further in June due to policy support. However, the international environment is still complex and sharp. He said, highlighting the risks to the outlook. Our domestic recovery is still at its initial stage with the growth of key indicators at low levels. Who said that caution was underscored in consumption data, which remained weak as shopper were confident to their homes. In Shanghai and other cities, retail sales slipped another 6.7% in May from a year earlier on a top of a 11.1% contraction. The previous month, they were slightly better than the forecast of a 7.1% fall due to the increased spending on a basis goods such as grains, edible oils, and food and beverage. We should not be overly optimistic about consumption, as the recovery has been quite slow, affected by repeated COVID outbreaks, slower income growth, cautious view of the further expectation. There will not be a revenge spending as people have expected, said Wang Jun, chief economist at Jonigan. Sir, some difficult words. Johnny Bang. Which word, sir? Why are you laughing, friend? Any problem?
Live हो.
Sorry, sir.
Zhongyuan.
Yes, sir.
Zhongyuan Bank.
Jiangwan Bank sales in the catering in the industrial sector highly
Industry.
industry a sector highly sensitive to COVID curbs contracted by a 21.1% in May, compared with a fall of 22.7% in April. Fixed asset investment, a growth driver that policy maker have hoped would prop up the wood.
Word. Hindi वाला वाह.
Yes, sir.
Wood.
Prop up the economy rose 6.2% in the first 5 months, beating an expected 6.0% risk, but
Rise.
rised from a 6.8 gain in the first 4 months. China's property sales fell at a slower pace in May, suggesting improved buyer sentiment after a slew of easing policy steps taken by cities across the country to boost demand. The data sent share of Chinese developers shoring employment remained a big concern. However, the nation wide survey based jobs rates fell to 5.9% in May from 6.1% in April, still above the government 2022 target of below 5.5%.
Relax.
Yes, sir.
थोड़ा सा हम लोग तेज पढ़ रहे हैं.
Yes, sir.
है ना? तेज पढ़ेंगे तो फॉलो नहीं हो पाएगा.
Okay.
ठीक है. न्यूज है, हम भी सुन रहे हैं, कुछ हमको भी जानना है. हम भी न्यूज पर नहीं पढ़ रहे हैं. चलिए फिर से, मतलब जोर से पढ़ना है लेकिन धीरे पढ़ना है. ये कॉम्बिनेशन है.
ठीक है.
रिलैक्स.
In particular, the surveyed jobless rate in 31 major cities picked up to 6.9%, the highest on record. Some economists expect employment to worse before it gets better, with a record number of graduates entering the workforce in summer. The central bank on Wednesday kept medium-term policy rate unchanged for fifth straight month, matching market expansion. China's cabinet recently announced a broad
package of economic support measure, although analysts say analysts say the official GDP target of around 5.5% of this year will be here to achieve without doing hard to achieve without doing away with the zero COVID strategy. Fear of fresh lockdown also loom large under the extent COVID policy. Authorities in Beijing warned on Tuesday that the city of 22 million was in a race against time to get the grips with its most serious outbreak since the pandemic began, as cases tied to a 24-hour bar grew. Shanghai is still grappling with lingering COVID cases of after it's emerged from a 2 month long lockdown. Any further lockdown and supply chain distribution risks amid further COVID outbreak may constant the rebound of the economic analysis. Say the short-term trend of recovery in June is becoming obvious, but the economy is still some distance away from normal operations, said Wang from Yangon Bank. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Over to next class now.